morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon. Don't give me copyright flag though.
No. You can cut this out.
I sounded like a zombie.
Oh.
Just.
Yeah, in order to grow, you gotta have like some kind of goals.
What's going on?
What's going on, bro?
Kwesa The Artist,
Yes,
live in the
sir.
building.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me.
Cool. I'm just going to roll off the intro and then we'll get started, man.
For sure.
What's up? Good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon. Whatever time you're listening in, wherever you're listening from. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here. Let's take a moment, recognize that it's now, right now. Whether your right now is running, working, driving, playing, flying. Be thankful we're alive, baby. We got another breath in our lives today. We're blessed. We're here with a glorious guest, and as Winston Churchill reminds us, success is all about going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. This man has been on a crazy ride, wild life, absolute legend in the area in terms of content creation. His name is amongst the greats. So we're going to talk a little bit about his story, what led him, what inspires the music, and let you know where you can find some stuff like that. So we'll just have a conversation. This is not a promo. This is not a radio show or anything like that, but I'm a huge hip hop fan. I'm a huge fan of your work since I met you. That was interesting. I was at a client's and you were shooting a wedding there. The Americas Hotel. And I saw the footage from that. That came out great.
Thank you. Yeah, that was just like a random. You know, I'm like that when I'm out. I spot other people that be shooting and stuff. They got gear, and I always step to them. Yo, what's that? Oh, you shooting us? Oh, okay. You know, so that I noticed you had your gear out too. So you know.
Yeah, working, but that's crazy. So now you do a ton of content creation.
Yeah.
Where did it come from there? I mean, was rap always a creative outlet? Because you touch so many different dimensions between the animation, between the videography of just rap videos for the stuff that you do. The animation stuff is really cool, but also commercial videography. You know, you were traveling the country. I love to talk about that a little bit too.
For sure. Well, it started out of necessity. I mean, I've always had the idea of wanting to do stuff. Sorry about that. I always had the idea of wanting to do stuff. But it came from a necessity. It's like I had went through a point in my creative journey where I had got so accustomed to having studios and producers and stuff like that. And when I didn't have it no more, I knew I had stuff I wanted to say and do, and I wasn't finished. So I just said, you know, I might as well just start this on my own, just figure it out on my own. And I went through like a little slump of depression because I couldn't create. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't create, and it was just like I didn't have that natural outlet that I had been so accustomed to. And my wife brought me a camera, but she didn't know. She wanted to surprise me with a camera, so she just grabbed the first camera she saw.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't do video. It only took pictures. So I had to be a photographer for a minute. I had to be a photographer for about a year or two to build up not just resume, but just stack money from photography gigs. And my very first photography gig was when Genuine came out the Main Gate.
Main Gate?
Yeah. I knew the promoter. Me and the promoter used to work together. And he was just like, yo, you doing photography now? Yo, I want to hire you to do it. And I just hit the ground running with it. I was like, once I saw that, my first gig, like I wasn't even a photographer, right?
Yeah.
I barely knew how to work the camera. I was still learning, right? And when I saw that, I was like, nah, the sky's the limit with this. You heard?
Yeah.
So I just did that for a little bit until I was able to buy my first video camera and just went on from there.
What camera did you get? What was your first video purchase?
It was a Nikon.
Okay.
I forget what model. I ain't have it long. It was a Nikon.
And then what did you start shooting right away? Yourself?
Just myself. Just different little random things to learn. And then one thing I learned from the rip was like, because the footage was mad shaky. I thought I could just hold the camera.
Yeah.
And the footage was like mad shaky. So then I was just like, nah, I gotta figure it out. So then that's when I started diving into YouTube videos, and I saw, okay, I need to get X, Y, and Z to accommodate this too. So
Were you doing it commercially while you were doing your own stuff as well too? Did you have like birthday parties and stuff like?
I was shooting photos for stuff like that. The photography really got me on my feet for the videos.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Because that's easy. It's easier than videography. To me, it is. So I was doing people's graduation photos. I was doing just birthday pictures for people and some artists that needed photos for their cab for themselves. I was doing that type of photography work. And the video stuff, I was mainly focusing on myself because I wanted to master it first before, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had did a little special once I got me a little, I call it a prehistoric stabilizer before we had the 3-axis point gimbal ones.
Yeah.
Right?
Was it just the weights?
Yeah, just the weights.
Yeah.
I got one of those. And I just put up a sale, created a flyer for a special. I was doing $150 videos. And only one person took me up on it. Only one person. And he not even from the area. He's from New York. And he just reached out to me, and he's actually doing things now. Like he's like got co-signed by Jadakiss, a couple other people.
Oh, nice.
So he was my first client. You know what I mean? And I went up. They could shot the video at the nice big house in the Poconos. And my whole family went, my wife and my kids, because I ain't have a license then, and I ain't want to drive up into the Poconos with no license.
Oh yeah, you can't do that.
I was like, I ain't doing
Can't do that.
And the kids was little, so we all had to go.
But they probably love that though, seeing the stuff. I mean, my son's 13, but ever since he was little, every time I was doing stuff with the video and everything, like it's within his memory. He'll recall. He'll be like, "You remember when we had the light and the camera was shaking, and I had a camera clamped to a table while they were playing with toys and stuff like that." I think the videos are still out on YouTube somewhere, but it's nuts. With whatever profession you go through, there's trials, tribulations along the way, but especially with the creative industry. I mean, there's anybody, the barrier to entry, especially now. I mean, anybody can do it with cell phones. You can create cinematic quality stuff, you know, like
I beg to differ.
Yeah.
I beg to differ. I'm like really against everyone thinking cell phones that stuff looks great on your phone. But when you want to use it and like blow it up and put it on a TV screen or an actual computer monitor, or in my case,
the lighting isn't there. You're right. Like the lighting isn't there, but they're shooting 8K. Like it's
a marketing tactic. 8K doesn't exist. And we could get into that because I'm a nerd. So
yeah,
we
definitely.
both are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We both are, so you know we can have that conversation. You know it doesn't exist.
But the barrier to entry for what they could do I mean, you're still talking about $1,000 for a phone, $1,000 for a good camera.
Right.
So you're not comparing apples to oranges, but even editing on a phone, I mean, you try to do that 5-10 years ago. Now, like you just slide transitions on top of stuff. It's
for sure.
The market is moving more towards people being able to pass on. And the truth of the matter is we're nerds. Most people don't, and this is one thing I had to learn, like most people don't see, they don't notice. Like when I switched from green screen to this, it was the same background. So there's people probably still looking at old green screen footage. Like the average consumer doesn't notice little fine different things. Like the AI blurs the background out when you do a cell phone footage. Shot something on a cell phone, and like at first glance, like if you're really looking, you could look around the edges and see, but at first glance, it looks like you got a
clean shot,
a crazy lens. But the average person, when they see a quick shot in a music video, is not going to be like, oh, that was AI generated or something. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know. You're not going to sell a $20,000 commercial shooting it on a cell phone unless you got a ridiculous rig, and
You gotta have
it's
a
not
rig
even
for
a
it.
cell phone at that point.
Yeah.
Like, you still need to stabilize it. You're not just
Yeah.
whipping your cell phone out and pulling crazy
and
stuff.
the crazy part is they sell gimbals for the cell phones now too.
Yeah.
I even thought about getting one, so
You should definitely get one. It's easier than pulling out the whole Black Magic rig when you're just trying to do like either like a little social clip or something.
And that's what I go through, because Black Magic did an update where you could shoot vertical with the Cinema 6K. So I'm like, oh man, do I really want to do all of that? Like, I'm against all of the algorithms or whatever, but you know how everybody has to do like the rapping videos, and I hate that, because a person like myself, I don't knock nobody that's doing it, but I'm creating every aspect of my content.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm producing the music, I'm recording the music, I'm engineering the music, and then when it comes to the video, I have to shoot the video, I have to edit the video, I have to score, do different things, Foley effects if I really want to get crazy with it. You know what I mean? I'm doing every aspect of it, titling, all of that. So,
right.
And then having to post it. So that's why I don't post a lot. So I'm like, cause I have my Instagram following is much more engaging. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I have a few people on Instagram. They're like, yo, man, you need to do more of these videos like this. And I'm like, bro, I don't have the time to do that. I got two hands. And plus, like you said, I'm doing client work at the same time as well. Client work is real. Is where the bills is. It helps pay the bills, put food on the table. So,
well, do you ever deal with like perfectionism, or do you feel like it's a hold back? Are you
all the time?
All the time?
All the time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going through now, is because I was going through my hard drives. I got like 3 or 4 hard drives, right? I'm going through, bro, I got music sitting on hard drives from years ago. And I'm like, what am I doing with this music?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this just sitting here? I got videos that I shot because I was learning different types of video. I was learning VFX. I was learning, animation and all that for some years before I actually popped out with it, because I've always wanted to learn that. I just never knew about how to do it. And, YouTube University shows you how to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So then I have hard drives full of stuff. And I'm just like, why is this sitting here? Because I deal with that a lot. Like, I don't think this sounds right to me. I don't think this sounds right. And that's a fine line, because something may sound good to you. I mean, something may sound whack to you, but somebody else may think, yo, that's
right.
That's fire. So,
yeah, it's a line between, I mean, I'm not going to preach on perfectionism because I deal with it enough myself, but at least with the podcast, I let myself go a little bit with it. Like, this will be episode 53 or 54.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. There's 1 or 2 filler episodes, but for the most part, you got 30 to 60 minutes of solid content every other week for going back as you scroll. And there's times where I'm just like, I don't want to, like, the whole point of getting this was to not do the whole green screen, but it's freeing because people are still like, it looks great. And I'm like, all right, it gives me that creative outlet. I think it's important that you said that, like, you go through a depression when you don't create. Like, that's real. Not enough people talk about that, about having, like, if you look at a kindergartner and you ask in the kindergarten classroom, how many kids draw? Every hand goes up. Right. Every year you ask that, the hands go down and down to the point where, you're in high school and you're almost weird if you're spending all your time drawing. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be drawing cool shit. You can't just be letting your creativity go and do abstract stuff. So I like to see that, like, my son's in a performing arts school. It's like to see that his school is built. He still learns regular curriculum, but choir is a part of his, like, instead of gym, he's in the studio, Oh,
that's dope.
Yeah, that's so he's got opportunities to perform. He performed at Radio City Music Hall. He opened up for the Rockettes.
That's
dope. Got to go up there.
Man, that's dope.
It's super dope. Yeah, man. At 13,
what?
so he's
at 13. Oh man, the bar has been set so high for him.
No, and he had the opening solo. Like, shout out to his whole choir. They won the chance of going that, but he opened up with Hallelujah, the solo, and then the choir joins in with them and stuff like that.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Yo, that's fire. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, man. I'll tell him
Yeah.
he watches the podcast. I'll tell him you said it. So shout out to
absolutely.
Jaden.
That's dope.
But he's it's nice that the kids have some sort of creativity. So, you know, fast forward, you stuck with that. You kept sharpening your skills, and then you won an award.
Mm-hmm.
Is that 2 years ago?
Yeah, I won. No, that was last year.
The Allentown Film Festival?
That was last year because it was the first year. That was last year. I won 2. For Still Dreaming on my All Praises Due album. It's a song about a dream I had years ago. I was in jail. I had that dream. And one day I woke up. When I made the beat, I wasn't going out to make that song. I was making beats for my album, and I heard the beat. And I said, this beat reminds me of a dream. So I said, yo, it'll be dope if I do a song off of that dream that I had, because I've never forgotten that dream.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'm going to make this song. And I wrote the song. The song came out dope. Go look it up. It's streaming now on all platforms. I'm Still Dreaming.
Yeah, we'll play it a little bit later, and I'll throw the video up over top of it.
So I kind of like sat and just listened to it. Like, truthfully, what I do a lot of times before I even make music, if I want to make a song sometimes, I'm trying to stray away from that, but I really shouldn't. I should keep the same process, is I'll make the album cover first.
Yeah, okay.
I'll do the single cover first and sit there and listen to the beat and say, you know, because I'll make the beat first, then I'll make the cover and then say, like, what would I hear on this? You know what I mean? And so I'm sitting there listening and looking at the cover, and I was just like, yo, I think this should be like an abstract dream, like, because I don't know about anybody else. All my dreams have always been in color. You know, they used to say, oh, people dream in black and white. I've never had a dream that was in black and white. All my dreams.
Yeah, it's colored now that I think about it.
Yeah, all my dreams are in color.
Sometimes it'd be CGI.
Yeah,
like
for
I go
real.
to sleep playing a video game, and I'm like,
for sure. Sometimes the dreams
a little
get crazy.
Cartoony in my dream,
I can't recall a dream I ever had that was in black and white. So I said, I need to do something that looks like an abstract type of dream with just a bunch of random images, but still you can make out certain things that goes along with the overall tone of the dream. And that's how I came up with the video.
I remember that specifically the going into the basement. You have the you're yelling in the streets. The imagery for the song and just for the dream in general, like you almost feel the fear of the dream. Like it's something that sticks out. And I know, like, I'll have dreams and I'll remember how I felt when I woke up, but I don't remember the exact dream unless I sit there and really think about it. But when you have that one where you remember like the full 5 minutes or whatever it is, and you can recall it and go from there, that's stuff. You have a strong spiritual connection, you know?
Absolutely.
Something you work on, something that you preach. Was it always that way? Were you raised in the church? Or?
I wasn't raised in the church, but how I ended up in the church was when I was young, I didn't live with my mother. I barely knew my mother, right? And I don't recall my mother ever giving me a gift. The only gift she ever gave me was a little Bible, and she wrote a note in it. One day, I'll remember what the note was. One day that might come to me in a dream or something. What was in? Or I might open the Bible one day and God would let me know that was the note. But that's all she ever gave me. So I believe that at that moment, that's when that spiritual seed was planted in my life. My name is Swahili. It's African. It means born on Sunday, which I was born on a Sunday. And growing up in life, you know, I came from a broken home, you know, in the South Bronx. My parents both died when I was 12. They died in the same week. They died 5 days apart from each other. So I went to live with my aunt in Staten Island, who lived in Park Hill, which is pivotal to my story, right? Because she lived in Park Hill Projects at the time when Wu-Tang, well, she lived there since the 70s. But when I went out there, I moved out there in the mid 90s when they were when they were on their stuff. You know what I'm saying? This was I moved out there in 1995. Now I used to go out there all the time to see my aunt, you know, because my family's tight. So I wasn't into rap before I got exposed to Wu-Tang. I was all Michael Jackson and R&B music as a kid because my father was a singer. So I was always into like Michael Jackson really growing up. And I never forget it, yo. I never forget it. I was at an after school program in the Bronx and they used to put on Video Music Box. For those that don't know, Video Music Box was the rap city of New York back in the days. That's where you saw your rap videos at because MTV wasn't playing it. So we had Video Music Box and we was watching Video Music Box and these dudes I had just learned to play chess. And these dudes was on a chessboard. They was live. They had stocking caps over their face with hoodies, and just that W was just like, yo, that's ill. What is that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I got introduced to hip hop. So then when I moved out there, I was telling somebody recently, I was like, y'all like the Avengers and all that now, but Wu-Tang was like the Avengers back then. They was superheroes. Like everybody that lived in the projects then was like, oh, that's just Ray. Oh, that's just Ghost. And I was like, are you kidding me? That's Raekwon the Chef. What are you talking about? That's just Ray. That's Ghostface Killer. And I used to go to the stores on store runs for Ghostface baby mother, just because that was Ghostface baby mother. She used to say, what? All right. Tabby, what your name was Tabby? Tabby, what you need? I'll go to the store. I used to run all this stuff. So that started me writing rhymes. I wrote my first rhyme to the Cream instrumental in Park Hill Projects. Yeah. And it's just ever since then. So getting on the spiritual is like, I've always been one. I came up in a time when you rapped about what you really lived. The people that like actually showed me like a hip hop structure and stuff like that. They was like, yo, you got to rap what you live in. So I always rapped about my content, always been about where my life was at that particular moment in time. I never been like a fantasy rapper. Yo, I got, this, that, and the third. When I used to go by Killer Shame, a lot of people don't know me as that now, but back in the days when I was known as Killer Shame, that's because I was heavy in the gang life. I was still in the street culture. I was still hustling and scratching and survive. So my mindset was still there. But then once I, with the children, with the kids, settled down, the wife, family, I kind of had to step back. I was like, all right, you're not living that life no more. What's life look like for you now? And life is, I'm in church. I understand that God allowed me to go through everything I went through to tell my story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I ain't mean to go, but that's a...
You didn't mean to what?
To run on it. It's a long
that's
story.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. No, man, I can relate. I feel like God puts people in my life with this podcast and different stories to tell.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm praying last night, I'm thinking about today and just putting everything, it's one thing to have all the technical stuff right.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, make sure the cameras are charged. But it's also like, okay, we're creating something. People will download this a year from now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You never know where this conversation goes.
Mm-hmm.
So you want everything to be right. You want to make sure that the you pray over the words that we speak, not to get crazy with it, but you let God, I let God guide the process and guide the people that I put together. And I'm selective with who I have on the show.
As you should be.
But it's always like, the connections, there's guests that I've had that I'm in their texts every other day now, it's made a real connection. So it's dope stuff, man. It's dope stuff. And that's good that's a good path for your life to be on. It's a peaceful path. You know what I mean? Like you can sleep good at night. Mm-hmm. It's a lot less anxiety. At least when I remember before I had a relationship with any sort of higher power, whether you call them God or whether people, I have conversations with people who don't have a relationship and they can still be calm. They can still be intelligent people, but I feel so much freer just knowing that I have the right intention behind the content that I create, the businesses that I help. Every time I try to be like, oh, I'm not going to design anymore, I'm going to just go and get a warehouse job or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like somebody will come along that really needs, they just saved up enough. They got their LLC and they have a couple left over for a logo. And they're like, I need your help branding this. And then, I've done those stories 3-4 years ago. You fast forward and those people have grown the business to something crazy. And they're like, oh, I believed in it because you designed this logo. Like, that's the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, that's inspiring. That's like, all right, I'm going to take this gift and put it out. So if you've been blessed with the ability to do it audio and visual and pull everything together, as well as the choreography, the costuming, things like that. Like, that's the one thing you threw in there when you were saying everything you do was the dolly, or what was it? I can't think. Foley effects.
Yeah, Foley effects.
I've
done Foley effects for some of my stuff before. Yeah,
that's wild.
So I had one for Still Dreaming, but I also won for Going Rogue, which was a dope experience because we were in the 19th Street movie theater and my work was on the big screen. That's why I touched on earlier. I said you could tell the difference between cell phone, because people that submitted stuff that was on the big screen and cell phone, you could tell the quality. It was a huge quality shift.
Okay.
I went to, I knew that it was a certain way that you have to export video footage for it to be on the big screen like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I already had done that when I submitted it. So I found out about the film festival. I was in Starbucks, the Starbucks downtown. I was in there and I just happened to look at their bulletin board and I saw Allentown Film Festival. So I went, I looked at it. I said, oh, I'm going home right now to put something together. And I went home. This was after Still Dreaming and Going Rogue was already out and circulating.
Yeah. And
at that time, I was doing an inspired documentary series. I love documentaries. So I was doing something called Inspired. So I went home and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to do this. And it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out for a film festival. So I was like, oh man, I don't know. I was like, well maybe I should. I talked to my cousin Jeannie. She did several work. She's a script supervisor. So she did some work with on some projects and she worked with some people too. So I talked to her. She said, cuz you don't have to make nothing new. She said, you got all this fresh stuff. Like, what do you mean you got to make something new? And I was like, yeah, but I want to give them something brand new, hot off something. She was like, cuz just, so I started looking at stuff. So I said, all right, maybe I could do Going Rogue and maybe I could do Still Dreaming. And maybe I could do one of the episodes from Inspired, which I did. That didn't win because the documentary that won was amazing. It was amazing. Great when you lose I was looking to clean up, but that documentary was about traveling musicians who, they threw all their stuff. A husband and wife traveling musician group. They threw all their stuff in their car, and every place they stopped, they just pull up, hop out, and put on a show. And then after they put on the show, all they asked is people just sign the car. So they got signatures. They went to every state.
Yeah.
Every state, even Hawaii. They couldn't take the car to Hawaii.
They do that with the money they make off the music, or they?
Nah, they was doing that they had saved up money.
They had saved up money.
And then they quit their jobs, and that's what they did. And they took when they went to Hawaii, since they couldn't drive there, they took a piece of the car off and took it to Hawaii with them and had people sign it. That's fire. That was fire. So they won because that documentary, talking about they had to sleep in the car in Vegas because it was super hot. So they parked in the parking deck and slept in the car. It was crazy. It was a dope documentary. The car got broken into. People stole equipment. But when they stories started getting out, people started, sending them bread like, yo, that's fire. Yeah. So that was the one I lost to, but the other two was like, it was undeniable.
That's fire. We're gonna definitely play Still Dreaming so people can get an idea. You just applied? It wasn't something that you had strove for a while?
No, they had to sign. You got to sign. It's free to sign up. Like certain film festivals be free to sign up. Certain ones you got to pay, but it's not a crazy price. Like even like the Tribeca Film Festival, that was like what, $50 or $75 to submit into that. That's not a lot. You know what I'm saying? To put to get that look. You know, if I didn't have this project that I was working on for the client that I had, I would have had to put together something to send to Tribeca, because that's a great look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
just to do it, it's funny. It's like the awards or the recognition do help you get over imposter syndrome. Because especially when you're a perfectionist, I know you're looking at something that someone else created. Right. You see it perfect and you're like, man, especially the levels, you know, when you see things that you just don't know how to do. Like, it's one thing when you watch a commercial, you could tell the lighting and you can see how they put it all together. But then you see some VFX or something, you're like, I have no idea how they did that. Yeah. It's kind of like disheartening to your own skills. You either go and hit YouTube University and learn how to do that effect and break that barrier down, or you're like, man, the levels to this stuff.
That's funny you said that, because I've been scratching to figure out how they did this effect. And the new movie on Netflix about the hackers, when the world comes
I don't know
to
nothing
like
about Netflix.
Oh, there's a movie about hack. I forget the name to it. I forget the name about it, but the first shot is amazing. I don't know how they did it. It's like the way the camera starts out like in a drone position, but then it's constantly moving and panning, and it gets in the car and it pans in the car while the car is driving, and everyone is faced to the back seat, out the back seat, back and stay center in the front. I was like, how did they do that shot? How did they do that shot? And I'm still trying to figure it out. It's a wild. So it wasn't a drone, because you could tell, because the drone would give like little hairs would be flying and stuff like that. And I don't know. It definitely wasn't a drone, but it was just crazy.
I don't know. Maybe they did it in Unreal. I see you messing around with that.
I think they did do it in Unreal, because Unreal just did an update where you can add a dolly in your shots.
Yeah, it's fire.
You know what a dolly is, right?
Yeah.
The thing that, So I seen that. So I said, oh, I think they did that with Unreal. They might have, because
does it do the depth of field and everything?
It does all of that. It does all. You can change the lens, the type of lens that you use, and all of that. I mean, After Effects, you've been able to, when you set up, it's called a 3D camera. When you set up the 3D camera, you've been able to change the lens and stuff. But that's revolutionary for it to have an actual dolly. That means you could take a static shot, put it in Unreal.
My mind's going wild. Nuts.
And it's set up and it'll look like, so that's fire.
I don't know. I'm excited about all the new content creation. I was just on Mike Frassetto's show on 88.1 Inside the 610 on FM radio. It just aired last night, actually, not at the time of this episode drops, but at the time of recording. And he was asking, how do you feel about AI? Are you scared it's releasing jobs? I said, well, first off, by the time this episode airs, Sora is going to be ridiculous. Like, you've seen Google's new joint. It's not a replacement. It's like a new tool. I don't know.
It's not a replacement.
I think that we agree on that. I've seen us go back and forth on the book about like how you use AI, what sort of AI is. I mean, without getting into the intellectual property and like the morality of it and everything like this, like a lot of people think AI, I will say this, Sora is starting to be what people think AI was like a year or 2 years ago. Like they thought you just type something and then out comes this animation, and
it's not that. It's not that.
It's far from that.
I tell people that, especially when I drop the AI video, people are like, oh, you just did AI. You just used AI to. I'm like, yeah, I did use AI for it, but you have to be really to understand the description that you have to use to understand, like you have to give it detailed information, type of camera shot you want, type of camera you want to use, type of lens, what type of shooting style it has to be, what you want it to do, and everything.
Set and you have shutter speed and shit.
Shutter, you got to do all of that. Yeah. People, it's not just, okay, I want this. I want a ninja swinging a sword. No, you you have to be very descriptive with it.
Yeah, I had your past two animation, and there was a huge difference between the first one and the second one.
Yeah.
Even just the length of the shots.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that really stood out to me. Like the first one was kind of like little clips that blended together, and it was visually cool.
Yeah.
But in How to Kill the Devil, there would be like a whole 15-second clip
Yeah.
of the camera panning and going through
Right.
there, and I was like, yep, I didn't even go to YouTube University to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, I know some of it's with filtering, some of it is actual camera shots, some of
Yeah.
it is generated, but I was just like, to do it with the story, I'd have to think you probably did the animation first. You didn't have the music. And then like you had to have.
Right. I did the animation first. And then when I did the animation, I've said, okay, this is like, what can I do with this? And I said, something I've never done. I said, just narrate it. Just narrate it. So it took me 10 minutes to write the narration. So I sat there, I wrote it, and I just recorded it. And then, actually, no, I didn't record it in the software. I recorded it in my phone. I got the
Lavalier.
I got the lavalier. I always say lavender. I always call it lavender. But the lavalier mic and my phone bounced the file straight over to the editing software, and then edited the audio and put it right in. And it actually that's how I know like I wrote it to the music beat. Or that's not even a beat, that's instrumentation. So I wrote it to it so that way it could fall on like certain climatic parts of the story. It could be the rise and the meat. Because I learned on several master classes that the audio plays an important piece when you're doing stuff because it sets the tone, it sets the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, okay. And then when it came out, I was like, oh, this is fire. This is fire. I was so excited when I put it out. I just dropped it. I wasn't supposed to do that, but I did.
You just dropped it.
I just dropped it.
Maybe it's a sign you got to do more stuff just straight off the inspiration and drop it. I don't know. I deal with like not put. I barely post. I keep up with the clips and stuff like that. But in terms of like what's going on with my life, I might post like once every 3 months. Here's what I've been doing for 3 months. But it's like a different game. It's creating for keeping people's attention versus having a long form content. Like I created a podcast that people will check back in and listen to a full episode. You know what I mean? Like you have to earn people's attention like that to have something that they could go from there. But just the clips, the little 1 minute, 2 minute, like cutting those up, that's like an art in itself. Trying to be able to take 4 minutes of conversation, squeeze it down to 60 seconds, still have everything make sense, still sound natural. And then you're literally doing that so somebody could go like this for 6 seconds and go from there. Like,
I struggle with the algorithms. I don't like that we have to create based off the algorithms. I was having this conversation with Phase One the other day. Shout out to Phase One.
Yeah.
I told him, I said I was trying a different approach this year because I said I was going to try the algorithm approach. Now, don't get me wrong. I did notice the spike in the streams. I did notice the spike, but it takes, like he made a valid point. It takes away from you being creative. If you have to create based off the algorithm, okay, the algorithm says you have to do this, you got to do this. You got to do that. I feel like the market is oversaturated with those videos with you just pull up and just rap and it has the captions at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so oversaturated with that now. Everybody's doing that with the glitch effect and I'm like, creatively we're getting lazy.
Well, it's funny you say that because big studios are hiring editors to make it look homemade and make it look social.
Right.
And there's a difference between somebody with lighting and a microphone and they're putting this content together versus somebody just holding their phone out and doing it.
Right.
Because anybody could get the captions.
Yeah.
People look at the video and they think, oh, it's about the captions. But it's like, no, they had the lighting. They exported it right. Like you said, you got to export it right for social.
First of all, you got to have the right project settings to even get it vertical. Like I do the I oversee the video ministry in my church, and they were like, oh, can you just take the certain sermons and make them like reels and stuff like that. I had to tell them the difference between posting a reel and posting a post, because I don't handle the church's social media, somebody else does. So I'll send them a clip and I say post this as a post. They'll post it as a reel, because in their mind, all videos are reels. So they'll post, and then the shot is off. I said, no, that shot is off because that's a 16:9. Well, if you're going to post that as a reel, it has to be 9:16. You have to flip it. And then they were like, I don't get it. So I was like, so what I'll do is I'll send it to you in the certain settings and I'll highlight it, reel, post, because there is a difference. And people that don't know, like, it's a lot of tech specs difference to it, you know.
Well, just pulling a 16:9 video and turning it into a 9:16. Clients hit me up. They're like, can you turn this video into, and I got to put you on to, there are some AI tools that help with tracking the camera. So if you have like somebody doing a sermon panning across the stage, this AI will switch it, create a new sequence in 9:16, and it'll track the camera and create little keep frames so that it steady moves with the person. That would take forever.
Well,
and
you can create a 16:9 into a 9:16. What you have to do is, once you export it, well, you already have it at 16:9. When you create the 9:16 project, you have to scale. You have to mess with the scale and the positioning of the shot.
Yeah.
You have to reposition it.
I found a tool that does the repositioning automatically. It's pretty good. You still got to mess with it a little bit, but that's what I'm trying to explain to people, that the AI revolution looks like a lot of creators just doing more creating.
Yeah.
Like you know how much stuff I would love to create that I'm just like, there's just no time. Like it would take me 3 weeks and I drop every 2 weeks. Like if I wanted to edit that and put something crazy together, but, if I get time with this, I'll put up a video so people know what the hell we're talking about. We're talking about 16:9, 9:16.
Yeah.
People just get that they like to view video on their phone, and you can't ask somebody to turn their shit sideways.
Right.
Like just asking the viewer to change the way they view. So shout out to all the content and video creators that are dealing with video not being horizontal. It's just something that you gotta change. But how has your music, did you always do production and rap? Did you just?
I had to learn everything. It took me a few years. And you know what's crazy? I used to lease beats off the internet, lease them or rip them, whatever, however I was able to do it. I used to do that. So while I was learning production, right? And I was working on my first self-produced album, Victory. I was working and I could not figure out the production aspect, like with the looping and stuff like that. It just kept skipping when it looped. I just couldn't figure out how to make it a seamless loop. And I threw a tantrum one day. I was like, that's it, I'm done. I quit. I'm not doing this no more. Forget it. It's over. And I went upstairs and threw myself on the face, literally threw myself face down on the couch and was laying there. And then my wife was just like, so you're just going to quit? And then I felt like a bum, right? Because I was like, yeah. I was like, I was like, well, there's one thing I didn't try. Let me go try that. And that one thing I didn't try, it clicked it for me. I figured it out. And then I've just been off to the races there. Because I knew how to chop I figured out pretty fast how to chop the samples. That was real, but I could not figure out how to make the loop. I could not figure out how to get it to, I figured out, you know. So then once I did that, I was like, oh, it's off to the races now. Now I can actually work on this project for real.
Great stuff. That's dope, man. That's a perseverance, man.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's about with a lot of stuff. But you go through, most creatives go through like emotional roller coasters.
Mm-hmm.
You are creating for somebody to judge,
That's exactly what we're creating for. Not just judge, but people look to music to escape. Sometimes they want to hear music to take them places, and they don't. That's why I'm real cautious on like who I do music with, because I don't compromise on my messaging. You feel me? I know that there's people that really depend on me musically. It ain't a lot, it ain't millions, but it's still somebody that, because I get people that send me messages, yo, your music, because listening to you made me want to keep going musically. It set me to create. And or somebody may be going through a situation. And it's those messages right there. That's like you said, when somebody may come along and spend some money with you to create something when you're ready to be like, just forget it. And it's like, I go through that with music. Sometimes I feel like, man, I don't want to, because you get caught up in the yoke that they have on people of likes and views. Mm-hmm. And I had this discussion with somebody all the time. I said, views don't dictate your impact, man. Those views are based off of algorithms and how much money you spending. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not spending that much money with the people that control the platform, then they're gonna make sure your views get at the bottom of the tank to make you feel it causes something mentally. Like they really sat down and did a whole thing with that, So it causes something mentally. You think, I have to spend money with them because I refuse to. I mean, unless it's something that I'm really trying to really get out there, which is like,
there's nothing wrong with spending a little money.
I don't like. I'm so stubborn.
Yeah,
I'm so stubborn sometimes to my own detriment, right? Because I feel like this is a scam. Like, I understand what they're doing with the algorithms. I know why they're doing the algorithms like that, to make you be a slave to have to spend money in it. So I just like, I trust in God. God to get my message to whoever needs to hear it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Whoever needs it. Because I don't look at music as a hustle. I don't look at music as, a 9 to 5. This is my job. This is my career. I make music, one, because I love it. And I make music because I know God gave me the gift to make music, that I have to use it. So, I hate the term when people say serious artists. I got to offer a special, for serious artists only, like everybody's a serious artist.
I don't think I ever saw that. I've heard serious inquiries only.
No, they're kind of doing away with that, because to me that term was offensive. They're kind of doing, so if I'm not spending money with you, I'm not a serious artist. Like, that doesn't make, there's people that put blood, sweat, and tears into their music, that build it out the mud. Like me, I invest in equipment. Like I got some equipment, you know what I mean? And I'm looking at another piece, but because I'd rather put my money into my equipment other than putting my money in your pocket. Now I'm not a serious artist. You know what I mean? Because I'm not, it's just that whole term. And I get it. I get both sides of that, because serious artists is people that invest in their craft, that do this, that do that, and the third, that work hard. But there's also the other side of it, that people that invest in their craft and do this, but they may not want to spend money with people. Like I came across a dude on Instagram the other day. He's doing his marketing the old way. He's out printing up postcards, flyers, posters, and he's going out the old street team way, hanging them up all around his city. And I watched him saying, he's like, he said he's doing it that way because it's cheaper to do it that way than to pay somebody to get your exposure up. And I said, I might shoot. I might take a page out of his book and start doing that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But he's a serious artist. But he's not spending money with everybody that says, "Oh, serious artists only."
But you're at shows where other artists are performing. You're putting yourself in places where you can network and meet with people. You know what I mean? We had a conversation after we met each other at Empower 610 Day. I think we saw each other on Facebook before that. But that's marketing, like marketing yourself. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason why my LLC is Tony Ortiz the Designer. It's not an ego thing. You know me. It's not an ego thing. It's just that people think of it as, oh, okay, he does that. Like when I had a business name, an LLC, nobody could pronounce it. Nobody knew what it was. They were just like Tony. You know what I mean? Tony and Nano. So I don't know. Back to the whole, like, how you choose to do it or if it's cheaper, if you invest in it or whatever. The one thing I'll tell you, like, Facebook is pretty much telling you serious artists only when they're like, all right, you could now to defend them, you could spend $5 a day. You know what I mean? You could spend what you spend on coffee and get real results. They created the platform that puts you in front of people like that. So
that's why I said that's different, because if they created the platform, I get it. That's your platform. You set the price. You know what I mean? But it's not. It's like even on Instagram. That's like I'll boost a post every now and then. It's not a too much ask. Like you said, you could drop for every release. You could spend $20 and get more people to see it. You know what I'm saying?
It just depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to get people to see it, you could figure that out.
Yeah.
I work with people that invest ridiculous money in the marketing, but they also invest in the system behind it. They invest in the website. They invest in tracking the conversions.
Yeah, that's too
much.
much.
They pay for a whole... No, definitely. But I mean, it's like... You could do that stuff without going that whole. They're spending $60,000 a month on paid advertising. But here's the thing: 1,200% return. They put $60,000 in the month of February. I'm not going to say who or put their business out there, but they made back 1,200, a little more than that percent return. So
that's fire.
They're going to do that again this next month. I think the fact that these tools are available for artists, that if you want to set up, like if your goal is downloads, music downloads, you know, like I'm going to invest, I invested in a commercial for my marketing business. I'm going to boost that and target people just because I spent money for it. Like it's not just a post. You know what I mean? Like it's something to push, but don't go spending thousands of dollars just for likes. I don't endorse that at all.
Just for likes. That's what I'm talking about. Because you do, if you're gonna invest your money, it has to make a return, not just for some dopamine. For dope, you know, don't just be spending all this money just for a dopamine fix. That's what I'm saying. Let me clear that up. That's what I mean, because you have to as anything, you're gonna have to market your stuff properly. But I know somebody that recently just told me they're spending $150 a month on boosting their posts, right? And I'm like that just is just totally. I feel like I need a marketing team or somebody that's an expert in that, because I'd like to focus solely. You know, one of my monikers is the creative genius. I just love to create. I want to focus on creating. I enjoy, because most people gotta enjoy. Like I enjoy recording, mixing, and all of that. I enjoy editing and animation and stuff like that. As a kid, I always used to wonder how I used to get radios and take them apart and put them back together. You know what I mean? Just because I wanted to know how it worked on the inside, or I wanted to see how they made it. You know what I mean? And I figured out ways to create makeshift radios. I figured out a way how to record in high school on my tape deck that had the dual tape deck, one to play and one to record. And I had a Walkman, and my radio had a built-in mic. So what I did was I used to loop beats at the end of hip hop songs, you know how they used to let the beat breathe? I used to loop it and then create the whole instrumental or grab an instrumental tape and put it in my Walkman, play it over the mic while the beat is playing and just spit my rhymes and then make my own mixtape.
Where's the kids doing that with today's tech? Like, they don't even know how to use a file manager, man.
Yeah.
Looping.
Yeah.
You made a sampler.
Yeah.
you made a.
Yeah. I did that on so many hip hop beats. Yeah.
That's dope. That's
Catch
dope.
the fade out.
Oh man. No, I think it's important for people to create music and hip hop for people. You know, I took a break from that a while back, but even then, a little track I put out last year with my buddy, people said, hey, that, like, one person's like, I don't even like rap, and I play that on my way to work. Like, it just inspires me. It does stuff like that. I'm like, all right, that's cool. It's cool to have a gift. It's almost selfish to not do it. I don't do it now because I just don't have the time. My son wishes I rapped, but like, if you're not going to make money off of it, what's that?
He wishes you rapped.
Oh yeah, my son loves the stuff that I do. He loves the content I create. And he thought it was dope when I put the little music video out and did stuff like that. We built this for him. I got the mic over there, but we built the little sound and I got the interface, and
nice.
We I want to teach him the art of recording. Like, the goal is not to have a perfect recording. Like, when you know what is in a big studio, you can't just recreate that for less than like $20,000-$30,000 to do everything right and have everything soundproof. But no, I like, ever since he was little, I was always like, you can create, you can be out there. So why wouldn't I be on YouTube and do the stuff that he wants to do and show him like it's possible, you know, empower him to, I give him cameras and stuff like that. And it's weird. And he'll listen to this when he's older. It may click for him soon, because that's about the age that I started putting together an old 80s stereo system and learning how to record and learning where you got to be from the mic and all that stuff. But I didn't have, other than my parents having equipment, like an old receiver in the basement. Yeah. They weren't like, yo, here, I'm going to give you mad equipment to learn this or do this. So I might be doing it wrong with my son. I don't know.
Nah, it's different times, you know. My son loves my setup at home. He's always like coming to sit in my chair, and he already told me, this is your inheritance. I said, whatever I build here is your inheritance. And he's like geeked off that. He was like, yeah, this is going to all be mine. And I'm like, he's already making plans with it.
That's dope.
That's dope. I already taught him the password for my computer if he needs to, and he's helped me one time. I was away and I needed to get something out of my computer. I needed to have it sent to me. So I had him on FaceTime and I walked him through it, like where to find the file at and how to send it to me. He knew how to do it, which I thought was really dope. So he loves the mic. When I got my show hooked up and everything, he's like, oh, you got one of these mics? Like, he wants to live stream. That's all he wants to do. But he's young. You know, my son's about to be 13 in a couple days. So he doesn't know yet what he wants to do. Like, right now he's going through this huge basketball phase that he wants to do. So, but he made, like, I didn't know I wanted to do videography and animation and all of that until I was 30. Yeah. I didn't know that I wanted to do. My cousin, who was my best friend, used to tell me for years, we need to start doing our own beats. We need to start doing our own production. He passed away almost 10 years ago, but I know he would be so proud. That's why I go so hard, because I remember those conversations. I used to argue with him about that. And I used to tell him, man, listen, you got to learn all of that. People that do in production, they know how to do that. People went to school for that. He was like, we could learn it. And I'm like, we can't learn that, man. I don't want to focus on that, man. I just want to rap. I don't want to focus on all of that. Yeah. And here I am now. I won't say it's mastered, but I've learned a lot, you know, and I've somebody spoke some life into me recently, a producer who I've gotten beats from. He said, yo, you surpassed a lot of people. He said, production wise, he said, you nice with the beats. And to have a seasoned product, that's what he does. Like, you know what I mean? That's what he's a producer. That's what he does. For him to tell me like, yo, you surpass people and you're nice. And we like, I was like, man, that means a lot, bro. I didn't let that, he just said it like casually, but
yeah.
That right there, I was like, yeah, that was like, what?
That's that imposter syndrome, man. It's an imposter syndrome. You know you're dope. You know the stuff. It's just the creative in you that questions it. It's what always drives you to create something better. At least that's what I think it is with me. It's like I won't let crap slide. You know what I mean? But I think it looks crap. I think my show looks like crap. I'll put it out there. You know, there's all sorts of stuff I want to fix. I don't like these damn creases. Like there's all sorts of stuff that I'm like, it bothers me. But then I'm with someone and they were like, your show looks one of the best. Like it's a great looking show. The clips, everything looks professional and stuff like that. So then that's that little, like, that's the dopamine that you chase. Like somebody in real life telling you, hey, I saw your show. Hey, I grew something from that. Just like I reach out to you when I was going through your podcast. We haven't even talked about that, but shout out to Grown Man Talk. Is that season 2 coming?
Season 2's coming. I'm waiting on my location is about to change. So once my location change, I'm moving soon. And so once I move and get a better location, then I'm going to really, really go hard on it. I don't like my location for the podcast.
Document the move, man. Got the GoPro right there.
Oh, I have been. I'm tripping. I have been.
Oh, word.
I have been. The whole process and everything for it. So, but when it's time to actually move, and I'm doing a whole documentary now. I just woke up just like, I want to do like a full length doc into, I haven't came on a title yet, but I have a theme that I want it to be. Just all that and that entails with everything that I do. There's a little aspect of every part of it.
You know what? I wanted to write a book, but maybe I'd do something more on the film end of stuff. I don't know. I never bounced back after losing my camera and stuff like that. I just went and got I had the whole bag with the Nikon, and I didn't have I had a cell phone stabilization in the bag, but it never left it never came back from the baggage check or whatever.
Oh.
I told my wife, don't check this bag. I was like, check your purse, but don't check this bag. But you could tell. You know when you could just tell a bag's expensive?
Yeah. Yeah. I had my camera get left on a tarmac, and I put I was watching YouTube again about how do you travel with expensive gear, right? So I had to buy a case, a special hard shell case, insulation and all of that. And they said, everybody said the same thing. They put Apple trackers in them.
Yeah. The air tags.
So I brought me some air tags and put them in there. I landed at ABE and I'm waiting at baggage claim for my cameras to come down off the chute. And I'm keep refreshing the location, and it's still showing that it's still in Charlotte. And I'm like, oh, wait, what do you mean it's 1:00 in the morning? What do you mean my bags is on a Saturday? What do you mean my bags is still in Charlotte? Oh man, I was livid, but I was able to get it back.
Didn't do the air tag thing. I learned from there, but
yeah, of course.
I just eventually I do enough editing where people send me footage.
Mm-hmm.
I do enough business with the motion graphics that, a camera, a tool, actually going and shooting a wedding and stuff. I'm not the guy for that. I've done it, but I don't want to be known for that. And I'm selective, just like the podcast, with the work that I create too. I only have so much time, and that's already filled. So
absolutely,
we got to be creating something dope. I'm not in a position that I need to take a $20 design or a $30 design just because it's something and I'm bored that day. That was a while ago. But I do want to give some people an idea. We had a great conversation. I'm going to start to land the plane soon. I see one of the cameras died.
Oh,
but
no.
We could play some music. I want to start with that Still Dreaming. And
you need me to set the goal? It looks like that one is about to die. It looks like, oh no, it's not.
no, it's they. I'm looking at the timer. It's good to like 120.
Oh,
so
okay.
start landing the plane, but we'll close out with "Still Dreaming." This is the award-winning track and video produced by Kwesa The Artist. Here we go.
Sorry, I'm multitasking here.
You're good.
And I remember in this dream in particular, I was fighting with demons in the house. And we were fighting like in the house with demons. And I remember what they look like. Another normal night, day in the life. Told my kids good night, then dimmed the lights and made love to my wife. Rolled over on my shoulders, blanket on me, it was colder. Passion was in the air, could still smell the aroma. Drifted off into a coma, I mean deep sleep. Immediately, now I changed the scenery. Whole thing felt like a dream to me. Unfamiliar, couldn't tell where I was. Death was in the air and it was lacking true love. Although I wasn't scared, it felt weird just because. Slow motion, I was stuck, man, I couldn't even budge. Then a woman appeared suddenly, dressed like a gypsy. Cunningly, she tried to trick me, telling lies to convince me. Pulled out a stack of tarot cards to tell me my future. And my heart knew it was witchcraft, don't let it confuse ya. When she spoke, her lips dripped with honey. Didn't quite understand what she was saying, no, it felt funny. Suddenly a sign appeared for the love of money. Her face shattered, then I started running. There's no escaping. No matter how far I ran, she was still chasing. Made my way to a musty basement. I'm still dreaming.
Me talking, those was experts from a sermon I was giving at my church.
Never hit the ground.
And I was telling this story.
To the ground.
So I put that in my
Landed on my feet. I felt powerful.
The
worst basement for me to hide up in. It was all kind of sin. Blood stains on the wall. Listen, dog, the vibe is grim. Little reconnaissance, I walked up the steps. The hairs on my neck began to slowly erect. The more that I progressed, felt like I was flirting with death. Wooden floors made an eerie noise, I'm holding my breath. A foul portrait depicted murder torture. Hung on the wall with inverted crosses. Made me sick, now I'm feeling nauseous. A bunch of witches performing wicked offerings. A fire breather doing Santeria. Noticed me immediately, I was surrounded with demons. Yeah, with big bulgy eyes. Attacking from all sides. Tossed me out a window, that's when I began to fly. Realize this is spiritual warfare. Guidance for the Lord, share the power of the Lord's here. The demons begin to look at me with pure confusion. No need to fear them, this is only an illusion. Alarm clock, I snoozed it, not at all conducive. They say that sleep is the cousin of death. Woke up in a jail cell and covered with sweat. Horrible nightmares, yo, they hard to forget. The truth is, while I produce this, I'm still dreaming.
It's real talk.
And I remember running through the streets, screaming, God is real. God is real. Everybody, God is real. You don't have to be afraid of these demons. God is real. And I remember the demons being puzzled and looking at me weird. And they didn't come for me no more.
You know,
I woke up.
I wrote that song. I mean, I had that dream when I wasn't even living the church life. I had that dream. I was in Rikers Island. You know, the intro part when I started off, told I made love to my wife and all that. That was just the creative side of it. I didn't want to just like go straight. I figured out how can I start this, so I just started it as if I went to bed naturally. But the whole aspects of the dream is the true story. That's why I said in the last verse, I woke up in the prison cell covered with sweat. Horrible nightmares, they'd be hard to forget. Because I literally was on Rikers Island and I woke up and was like, oh, this is crazy. And out of all the dreams I've had in my life, that's the only one that I've always remembered was me running and like the demons threw me out the window and I thought I was going to die, but I didn't. I just like floated and I landed on my feet and I was just like, I felt powerful for real. And I was just like, yo, God is real. God is real. So it's many different interpretations for that dream. But when I had that dream, I wasn't even nowhere close to living for God. Not even think that wasn't even on my to-do list.
I mean, that's not really your decision.
Oh,
that's
of course.
God's.
I know that now. I know that now, but
he was there.
Yeah.
He was there. That's dope, man. That's super dope.
Appreciate it, man.
So where can the people find you, man? We shared a little bit of the award-winning Still Dreaming video. Definitely go and check out How to Kill the Devil. Go and check out, what was the most recent singles you got? You go ahead.
How to Kill the Devil is out now. That's Still Dreaming, and How to Kill the Devil is my opus. Those are my two opus, but I'm still creating. Sincerely Yours is my latest video that just dropped, and I'm still currently in the process of working on Purpose, which is my latest single that just released this week. So I got a lot of, fresh content out there right now, but you can follow me on Instagram at Kwesa The Artist Music, KWE. I'm sure you probably edited and put it in the bottom, so I don't have to say and spell it out like they used to back in the day, right?
Yeah, but there's people that listen to audio that download it, so definitely spell it out.
So follow me on Instagram at Kwesa The Artist Music. That's KWE The Artist Music. And you'll find all my links on my setup there, my website link and everything. Man, I have everything there. When I'm doing my animation stuff, I refer to myself as the creative genius. That's just my thing. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I like to think outside the box. We came up in the music video era, right? Remember when Michael Jackson used to drop a video, everything stopped, TV stopped?
Yeah.
Everything shut off. This Michael Jackson got a new video.
He's throwing the discs in the black and white. I can't remember which. Man, I was so young.
Yeah.
I was so young.
So I like to think out the box visual wise. And it's somewhat in my writing too. I've always had that. It's so many ideas. If I could have two of me, like somebody that can actually hold the camera for me, I would have a lot more music videos.
Yeah.
If I could have
the AI's coming.
Yeah.
The AI's coming. But also drop in there Legend of the Martyr.
Oh, absolutely. How did I forget Legend of the Martyr?
I was waiting for you to drop it, but
Legend of the Martyr was my first AI assisted video that I did. And a lot of people, I don't know if you noticed, I somehow got it to go with the beat. But Legend of the Martyr is one of my favorite joints. So I got Legend of the Martyr out there. How to Kill the Devil, Sincerely Yours. So my 3 recent singles, and they're all some heaters, and Purpose just released. So
I'll have to check that out then. Is Purpose out now?
Yeah, Purpose came out. I put that out on Tuesday.
All right, we'll close out with that, play it, and then we'll go from there. It's on Spotify?
It's everywhere, on every major streaming platform. Kwesa The Artist.
Bad, I found it here. All right, this is Purpose, Kwesa The Artist. This has been another episode of I Will Not Lose. Thank you for staying tuned.
Thanks for having me, man.
Definitely, man.
Appreciate it.
Talk soon.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What you know about purpose? Surviving in the trenches, determined to make it out. Don't be a victim to murder. Now I'm humbly serving. On this path, you gon' stumble for certain. So how the devil come around, he be lurking. Waging war for my soul. Daydreaming, pulling up in the roads. Had to learn all that glitters ain't gold. Many streets could get cold. Young brothers in the hood, they be letting off. I lost some good dudes to that fentanyl. Heed the message, let the rest is off. Times is hard, streets you be stepping on. Pray you find God through my best of songs. I'm feeling like Tommy when he sat sincere down in the restaurant. In times really near, pray you catching on. The Lord uses. I won't abuse this, my gift for music. This one exclusive. For me to use it, there's no excuses. My God produced this. Yeah, I really survived that life. Can't believe he chose me to guide my niggas to Christ. I know my purpose, I understand my calling. Beneath the surface, my God is working through all this. I know my purpose, I understand my calling. I know my purpose, I know my purpose. I know my purpose, I understand my calling. Beneath the surface, my God is working through all this. I know my purpose, I understand my calling. I know my purpose, I know my purpose. My higher calling was lying dormant, the rain was pouring. Was in the game from the night to morning, my mic performance is real reflective. I'm interested to bring this message to those affected. I'm well respected, no lies detected. I'm really him, everything that I say I am. Survived some hard times way before I became a man. Was God's will for me to navigate through a harsh field. Beyond ill, the way my life nurtured this bar skill. The Lord used my pain to be the voice of change. We all got a choice to make. Mine was ministry over fame. I had to find myself. I lined the cards I'm dealt, crying at the God to help. Went to war at the Commonwealth. Kept my blicky on the shelf, right where my Bible at. Recited scriptures at times before I fired that. Drunk off cognac, no license swerving in a Pontiac. Heading to the Bronx with some grimy cats. Never thought I'd elevate out the slum. Most don't make it where I'm from, I'm giving praise to the sun. Power, life's and death in the tongue. Praise the Lord, this is second to none. Yeah, I know my purpose, I understand my calling. Beneath the surface, my God is working through all this. I know my purpose, I understand my calling. I know my purpose, I know my purpose. I know my purpose, I understand my calling. Beneath the surface, my God is working through all this. I know my purpose, I understand my calling. I know my purpose, I know my purpose.
Recite scriptures before I blast that is crazy.
For sure.
Thank you for listening to another episode of I Will Not Lose podcast. To support the show, visit iwillnotlosepodcast.com. You can subscribe to your favorite podcast player, share the episode link, leave a comment. Your contribution is greatly appreciated. And if you're listening in and can't see the QR code for donation, go to tothedesigner.com/links, and there's instructions to donate up there. Thanks so much.